Ten bed and I don't need nobody's help. I don't need your fancy studio. I'll do this shit myself. Make me ten bed and I don't need nobody else. Yeah. Get out of my face, child. I don't need to cut that. I need to load up. Yeah. Get out of my face, child. I need to load up. Yeah. So keep your number. No, I don't want your call. I write the shit, I run a tight shit. I'm working really hard. So keep your number. No, I don't want your call. I got to dip, go start your own shit. I'm working really hard.
Hello.
Presents Mix Bag, hosted by
Hello. We might be live. We might not be live. We've been having technical difficulties over here, but we cooking with grease right now. Listen, if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, subscribe, like, or as Alf likes to say, throw those bits out there, throw them on the stage, let us see them fly. And if you're listening in your car, turn it up loud, roll your windows down, let everybody hear this voice. You know what this is? This is Mixed Bag. I want to thank you guys for coming back. I've been off for a while, but I'm back. I got my guy Franky. Franky, say what's up to the people.
What's up to the people?
Listen, this is a Mixed Bag mini. So we are literally just going to dive right into it. First, let me say congratulations to the Miami Heat, off to a 12-6 start, third in the East. Who saw that coming? I did not, but I'm not mad about it. Also want to welcome back Tyler Hero joining the fold. Came back last night, looked pretty good. Let's see what happens moving forward. All right. Now that we got the dirty laundry, the housekeeping, all the things out the way, we're going to jump right into this. Franky, your guy, my nephew, Nico. Let's get into it. I kind of want to do like a small breakdown of his positioning on the court, where he plays, how he plays, and what it looks like to you. Okay. So first, let's start out with him at the three. So 33% of his time has been spent at the three, and he's at a plus 23 net rating. What does this look like to you?
I think he's more of a 3-4 tweener with the guard skills and his shot, even though his shots has not been falling. I think it's gives him a little bit more pressure, eases the pressure on him at the three, playing the perimeter. He doesn't have to bang inside defensively most of the time. He needs to improve rebounding. That's something absolutely he needs to fix. But I think he's pressing a little bit too much because he's fallen short defensively on that end, especially in the minutes we'll get to the five and stuff. But at the three, I think he gets to a height advantage. It's less of a strength mismatch against most matchups and stuff, and he gets to play on the perimeter a little bit more. We'll talk more about where he's getting his shots from, but I think he's just one of the guys that he's made a lot of adjustments quietly. He's had to make a lot of adjustments that he's not used to, and I think that's a big part of his struggles.
Right. Now, you mentioned a height advantage, and which we do know when he's at the three, he does have the height advantage most nights.
Right.
Like for me personally, we'll get into the outside shot a little bit more, but I would like to see him take advantage of that mismatch more and do a little bit more work in the post. Even if he's on the court with Bam, obviously Bam can clear out, create a little more space for him. But I feel like those are the shots where he can garner a lot more sustainability with his ability to stay on the court.
Yeah,
taking advantage of that.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
But yeah, he's one of the few guys that when he's in the post, they send help. And he can see and make the passes too. It's about the most successful play he makes and he's made this season, because he gets to really slow it down. He gets to really control the floor and control his pace. A lot of Nico, his big issues is just he's kind of still chicken with his head cut, running around chicken with his head cut off still. And he can be better. It's about being more in control. And in the post, he's just a little bit more steady with the base, steady with the flow of the offense, and he can see it all. And against most mismatches, and he's not a great scorer from there yet, but if you include his passes, he's very efficient there, reading the help, getting others involved, and getting others the ball in the right spot.
Right. So I guess like if we were to think about it, that also kind of puts him behind Wiggins, Jaime in that pecking order positionally. Which also I don't know, I don't know where those minutes come from at that position at this point, unless, like Andrew is out, right? So he's out. So if he was playing, then he would get some of those minutes. But with let's just say with a healthy roster, with everybody in tow, how can he carve out minutes at that spot?
Well, first off, he's got to play better.
Right.
Flat out, he's got to earn that opportunity. It's hard, like you said, because Wiggins is the contract makes it very hard to bench him. And Jaime's been playing so well for the majority of the season. I think it's kind of the 3-4 is kind of interchangeable with them, especially with Fontecchio, because Fontecchio's not a very bruiser for either. So they'll probably, some of those minutes could go either way. Shout out to the Deuces. But he's like I think where he's getting his shots from, and I just want to touch on this real quick. But he's his first year, 14% of his threes were from the corner. Next year, 16%. Last year, 20%. Take a guess how many percentage of his shots are coming from the corner this year.
I'm gonna say 5.
Close, 7. And that he's been a 37% shooter for the last couple of years. He's doing more above the break, and I think that's part of the reason why he's struggling. It's not fully. He's going to shoot the ball better. He's in a slump, shooting 29% after shooting back-to-back years at 37%. But I think getting him all in the corner, it lets him get to the cuts to the basket, lets him post up a little bit more of his comfort zone. I think he needs to adjust that. But he's got to beat those guys out. Those guys have been playing well. Even Wiggins, with his up and down season, he's playing efficient basketball, and he's defending. So when his shot's not falling, he's doing other things. When Nico's shot's not falling, he gets in his head. And that's and he's not helping the team like that.
Right. And I would think too, if positionally, if he can get himself, cutting towards the basket in the post, I think also those things would allow him to maybe get to the free throw line a little bit more. Because I feel like he's taking, I think if I remember correctly, less than 3. I think it's like 2 points something. I think it's less than 3 a night.
He is he's actually shooting 2.5, a career high in free throws
right. And I think that's just another opportunity for him to be able to see the ball go in the basket. To just kind of give him a little bit more confidence, a little bit more awareness on the court. It's interesting because, like you said, he has to play better and beat those guys out. I kind of felt like coming into the season, I'd like to see him at the 3, but I also thought there'd be more opportunity for him at the 4. And right now, he is, he's not really what looks like not productive at the 4 at this point. His net is negative 7.5. So I don't know. I don't really know. And I'll say I haven't really seen him. It's funny because I kind of see him floating a lot out there. Like he's in an area. I don't really see him holding space. I just see like he's in the area out there.
I think with him, he's one of the worst rebounders on the team.
Right.
And he needs to do a much better job rebounding, especially when he's at the 4. His job boxing out, I think that's one of the things that hurts them the most. And it stood up most opening night, which is a big reason why he didn't get to keep his starting job, because he did such a poor job on the glass that game. And it was a tough assignment. He had to guard Wendell Carter a lot of that night, and that's a pure 5. But when you're at the 4, that's the job sometimes. In this Heat defense, Drew Smith is guarding 5 sometimes. That Davion is doing it. Everybody has to take turns, but you got to do your job, and he wasn't doing it. And that's on him. That's on nobody else but him. So if he wants to carve out those minutes at the 4, which he can offensively, you would think that he could be successful because he's got the shooting, the quickness. He's got some of the athletic advantages against some of those guys who are a little bit slower, just not the muscle. And that's something that, even though he's been in the league 4 years, he's gained weight, but he hasn't really gained enough muscle to effectively move guys who are of similar stature.
Right. So I have it here. He spent 58% of the time of his time on the court at the 4 spot. I mean, hasn't really been that successful. I don't know. And then and I say that with a grain of salt also, because then you do take into account who are the other 4 around him on the court, and what else is happening.
Sure.
But I definitely thought, with his length and, like you said, his athleticism, I really did think that he could. That's a position he could help in. He can help with the rebounding, also not just rebounding, but rebounding and pushing the ball in transition, which I didn't see enough of within the first few games, while he was playing 100% healthy and when he was getting a load of minutes.
Yeah, he early on, one of the best lineups that the Heat had, and I haven't checked it recently to see how it stacked up because of all the injuries, but it was Drew, Fontecchio, Jaime, Nico, and Bam. That was like their killer lineup.
Right.
And then Nico's Bam got hurt. Nico's been hurt, so they haven't really been able to go to that lineup again. But that lineup was killing teams. It was just by far, the net rating was insane. Small sample size, of course. Jaime was going insane. Drew wasn't missing. Simone was shooting 2,000% from deep, and Bam was playing well and leading in the charge defensively. And Nico was connecting that offense. The success, he was getting the ball, he was making the hit ahead passes, he was getting the hockey assists, and that's where he really flies and does the best. The last couple games where he had to play the 5 more and the 4, and he's matched up against bigger guys, bigger front lines. There was a matchup problems. They were getting killed on the glass, and they had to send everybody to the defensive boards. And they didn't have as many opportunities to get out and run. And he definitely struggled with that. But again, that's on him. He needs to box out, be big. Right. We have a saying in Spanish culture, is grande por gusto, big for nothing. And he's been that for most of the season. He's just floating around there, and he hasn't really imposed his will, and he needs to do a much better job there.
Right. And because I'm looking at it, and then you quickly brought up the 5 spot. So he spent 8% of his time at the 5, and then the net rating is a +71.
That's surprising.
That surprised me too. I mean, 8%, it's not overwhelming, but that means that he did do some positive things while he was there. So even though it's just a small sample size, do you think that it's viable? Because the Heat still do need to have another person as that backup big. Do you think it's viable for him to kind of work his way into being the backup big?
I think it's very matchup dependent, and who else is in the lineup, because I feel like most of that success came from that Portland game where he had that was his best game of the season by far, and he had to play the 5 a lot, and they did a good job. But it wasn't like Donovan Clingan is really good, but he's not a guy that is going to be a bruiser and take advantage of the mismatch inside. And they were a lot of the guys on the Blazers that night were shooting themselves out of the game. They had like two guys go for like 3 for 18. It was insane. They couldn't keep up with that pace. So that's something where I thought originally Nico might be able to succeed there if the rebounding got better. If he boxes out and does his job, and I could see the benefits of it. He can take advantage of slow-footed bigs. He can shoot over mismatches, and I think he's one of the guys that when they incorporate more pick and roll, he'll get a little bit more comfortable in that sense.
Right. Like I look at him and I think that like he would be like a guy I would like describe as like a Swiss Army knife. Like when you look at his skill set and all the things that you know he could do, and then the possibility of the things that he would be able to do.
Yeah.
But then I also kind of think maybe that type of thinking isn't helpful for him. Like I wonder if he needs a position solidified. Like if he needs to know this is where he's playing, this is what he's doing every single night. I'm like I don't know his realm of thinking, but I just wonder if being thrust into various different positions, if that maybe throws him off. Because he's still young.
Yeah.
So and he may not,
It's easy to forget.
Right. And he's still young. So I'm wondering if those are the things that may be kind of throwing him off his game a little bit. Now, with that being said, no, you still have to produce.
For sure.
But I'm wondering if this is just something that kind of gets in the way a little bit.
Yeah, I think some consistency is definitely necessary for him. Like we saw him last season, he got into a groove when he was the sixth man, and he knew where the minutes were coming from. He knew who he was going to play with, and some players are just like that they need that stability. And you mentioned he's young. It's easy to forget he has played less games than Jaime has, and Jaime was drafted a full year after him, I believe. And it's easy to forget that because he's so young. Nico's 22. He's younger than Jaime was when he was drafted. Jaime had a whole year wasted last year because of the injuries and the stomachs. And it's easy to forget. Like I know Nico got paid, so like the expectations need to raise, and he does need to be better. But it's easy to like give him some grace. Like I feel like everybody's so hard on him for like anytime one of the players gets paid, nobody's happy. Nobody's happy that no, we didn't want to pay this guy. We don't want to pay him. Like everybody was down his throat, ready for like rooting for him to fail. And he needs to be like, they want, I know a lot of it is just, they want him to be better. They feel he's hurting the team. He's been a positive on the court most of the season. I think he still is a positive. Last I checked the other night, and he hasn't played, so he's probably still there. So he hasn't really killed the team yet. Like they've survived with him on the court even through his struggles. So I just think like finding his niche in the new offense with a new group, and finding his role, his comfort zone. Like I think that could go a long way. He's also just shooting 29%. He's rushing. A lot of that is rushing. We talked about this every time we watch him. We're like, man, he's shooting that with 11 on the clock, and could have got a better look, and he's not used to it yet, and he needs to be better there. But I'm hoping this time off he's absorbing and seeing where he can be plug in and be successful.
Right. So his season averages 9 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 2.5 foul shots. All things being equal, where can he improve on these numbers to help the team?
I think mostly his turnover percentage is at a career high, about 5% higher than it was his previous career high. So that's something that drastically needs to go down. I think that would make a huge difference. A lot of his metrics are right around where he's been or career highs. His free throw rate is a career high by far. He's getting to the line a lot better. Once the shot starts falling, I think it'll make a big difference. But I think the decision making has been the biggest issue. His shot selection, where he's getting the shots. There's a lot of shots where he's hoping for a call and he just tosses it up and doesn't get a call, gets frustrated and head down, jogging back on defense. And that to his body language as something intangibles that could be better. But yeah, the decision making and the turnover percentage is definitely something I'm looking at.
Okay. So let's say give it I'll put a number out there. We'll say 2 weeks.
Mhm.
2 weeks. The Heat roster is fully healthy. Nico is playing where and he is doing what?
If they're fully healthy and nobody else is struggling, I think Nico's waiting for his turn, waiting for foul trouble. I think he's the 11th man in the rotation behind Wiggins, Hyman, and Fantecchio on the wings. And we'll see. And he's battling with Kashad right now. Kashad's playing well. So I think he's got to wait his turn. Long season pace and has shown a lot of hip injuries. We got like 5 guys out with hip injuries right now, or probable on the injury report. So Nico's going to get another shot. It's just on him to take advantage.
Okay. I definitely think I agree with that, because with the way the season is going, people are going to be in and out. So he's definitely going to get his opportunity. And it's just going to be up to him
For sure.
it's going to be up to him to be able to grab those minutes and hold on to them. One more thing. If you could take 3 things from 3 different players, skill wise, give them to Nico, what would you give them?
From anyone?
Anyone on the Heat's team?
Ooh, okay. Are you including like a float or anything?
Anything.
Anything? Okay. I would say Tyler's footwork, because I think that would that like the footwork, especially inside on his drives, kills him. Excuse me. I would say Bam's boxing out.
Okay.
Because that would make such a difference for him, especially when he's playing the 4 or the 5. And Norm shooting, because if he was an elite shooter, which he's a good shooter, he's a good shooter going through a slump right now, which that happens for everybody, but he's a good enough shooter right now. If he had that elite shot though, you got to guard him like that. That would change the whole offense for him. And how his drives would be better, because they would have to close out harder.
Right.
But I think I think footwork wise is one of the biggest things. I want more balance from him. If I'm less greedy on that, I would take some of Jaime's physicality on the drives. I feel like Nico doesn't assert himself enough.
Right.
And he could dunk, and it surprises me every time, because he rarely dunks, and I wish he was more physical on his drives. If he took just that, if you narrowed it to just that one thing, he took Jaime's physicality on his drives, it would change everything for him.
Right. I agree. I think that luckily we got a long season ahead of us, so there's plenty of time for things to look drastically different in the daylight. With that being said, we'll check back in mid-season
For sure.
and we'll compare what we said now to what's happening then. But first of all, let me say, Franky, I appreciate you coming on for this little mixed bag mini, the first of many, we hope. And wherever you're watching, whatever you're doing, hug somebody, tell them you love them,